Hi, how you doing? I'm James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. Alright, this one is called Phillip's L.D.R. Yeah. Yeah. Phillip was a cool dude. Phillip went to the Philippines in 2018, 2018. And he met him a Filipina, and him and that Filipina got married in 2019. Yeah. Yeah, her name was Fiona. He knew Fiona, and he was head over heel for Fiona. And they were pretty much in love and stuff like that. But Fiona was somewhat, a little off in some way of shape or form. When he had to come back to the States to work. So he had to come back to work at his factory where he worked at. But Phillip could have stayed at the Philippines, but the only thing was he had no income. He had to go back to the States to work. But Fiona thought he was playing around, playing around when he went back to the States, But Phillip didn't have time to do that. He didn't have time to mess around. Shoot, he barely had time to sleep. He was working hard, Yeah. And he was getting as many overtime hours as he could, One day, Phillip couldn't text Fiona because of the data on his phone. The data on his phone, so he couldn't text her. He couldn't get a text out, So he had to wait until his lunch period to get more data, Man, when he did that, Fiona began SMSing all of his family members. All of them. And man, she was telling them that Phillip was cheating, because Phillip was with another woman, and how she's at home by herself, cooking and cleaning, and how loyal she was and dedicated she was and everything like that. So sooner or later, when Phillip got his lunch, he went and got more data, because he didn't have time to do it because he was on the line, working, And then when he got his data, his mom, his brother, his sister was calling him. They kept calling him, messaging him, And man, Phillip was very upset because he knew he wasn't cheating. Shoot, he barely had time for sleep, After he told his family that it was all a false alarm, He called Fiona immediately, and she began calling him all types of names and calling him a cheater, Phillip didn't argue with her. He didn't argue at all. He just didn't say nothing. After she was out of breath, Phillip told her, look, this L.D.R. stuff ain't working, We might as well break it off until I can come back, till the 6 months is over, And man, that was it, man. That was it. Fiona was crying and crying. And she said, all men want to break up when they got another woman. Yeah. Phillip explained to Fiona, look, I love you and I want to be with you. I want to be with you. But now I have to work, and I just don't want to break it off to get to I just don't want it to get too much stress on me. You know, I want to get this stress off of me. And that you're putting it on me. That's what he told her. He said, you're putting all the stress on me. I need to get away from it, you know. Fiona then said, look, it's not stress. You just want to be with another woman. So Phillip just hung up. He just hung up. Just hung the phone up. He didn't have time for that. You know. He didn't have time for it. And he went on back to work, you know. Phillip was very upset about the discussion that they had, you know. Plus he had to work a double shift, you know. So man, it was crazy. He had to work a double that day, you know. So Fiona cried and cried and started telling everybody she knew that her American husband is cheating on her. She said, look how Americans treat you. This is how Americans treat you. American men treat you like this, you know. Man, I guess she was trying to embarrass him or something, you know. But Phillip still sent her allowance every 2 weeks, and he still sent gifts from Amazon. Then it was time for him to go back, you know. Man, back to the Philippines, you know. So he saved his money. He saved enough money to last him a year, you know, a year there. When he arrived at Manila airport, we arrived at Manila airport. Fiona met him. He met her. She hugged him. They hugged each other, and guess what? They lived happily ever after. Yes. And they even had a baby girl, you know. So it's all good, you know. Man, look. I like Phillip. I had to go through this stuff, man. I had to go through this stuff. Huh? It's a difference in culture, okay? It's a difference in our culture. It's a difference in culture. And it gets bad. If it gets bad for you, if you have to, you got to break away, you know. If it gets bad for you, you got to break away, you know. Abstinence makes the heart grow fonder, okay? Be true to your Filipina, because you know they are all kind of narcissists, you know, in some way, shape, or form, you know. But that's just how it is, you know. You know, so don't take it personal. You don't got to take it personal, you know. All right. That's it. That's my story fulfilled, you know. And they live happily ever after. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. Yeah. And share. Share my videos with your family. Share my videos with your friends. Share my videos with your loved ones. And even share it with your enemies. All right. Peace. Adios. Salamat. Don't let it get to you if you know you a good man.